The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew.
Glory to the Lord.
After entering a boat, Jesus made the crossing and came into his own town. And there people brought to him a paralytic lying on a stretcher. When Jesus saw their faith, he said to the paralytic, "Courage, child, your sins are forgiven." At that, some of the scribes said to themselves, "This man is blaspheming." Jesus knew what they were thinking and said, "Why do you harbor evil thoughts? Which is easier to say, 'Your sins are forgiven,' or to say, 'Rise and walk'? But that you may know that the Son of Man has authority on earth to forgive sins." He then said to the paralytic, "Rise, pick up your stretcher and go home." He rose and went home. When the crowd saw this, they were struck with awe and glorified God who had given such authority to men. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
So I always identify pretty well with Amos, the prophet, in our first reading, especially this reading. He says, "I was no prophet, nor have I belonged to a company of prophets. I was a shepherd and dresser of sycamores. The Lord took me from following the flock and said to me, 'Go prophesy to my people Israel.'" Now hear the word of the Lord. I'm just like, I'm no prophet, right? I'm a ranch hand. And the Lord took me from riding herd and cutting hay to prophesy to all you, right? He does the same for you guys as well, right? So don't think you got to be somebody special to speak up. So we got Amos, then we got Jesus. Jesus speaks up, right? He speaks up in his hometown or his native land. Probably the hardest place to go. And I think when Jesus goes home, the average Joe welcomes him, right? He heals them. They bring people on a stretcher. They heal them. But it's the intellectuals and the people of like high status or something that start questioning, balking Jesus. Like, who is this man? Is not this the son of Joseph, right? Who's he? Who's he to say, your sins are forgiven, right? They balk at him, right? It's not always the common folk. It's usually not the common folk. It's the kind of those who think they know better. Jesus spoke with authority. Again, he spoke with authority. That authority was given to him from above because he was the beloved Son of God the Father. He knew that. That's where all his authority came from, his relationship with God as Father. Right? So all of us have been given all that same authority, right? Through our baptism. We are baptized priest, prophet, and king, just like Jesus. We are baptized into the person of Jesus, right? So we also have that same authority and that same call as Amos, right? So we are asked, like Amos, to go from tending the flock, doing whatever we normally do, not necessarily leave that position, but to rise from that position and speak the truth with authority and love, right? So that's not always easy especially in our kind of our home environments, but yet we are called to do so. And it's really just a fear, right? How's this person going to react? Or what should I say? Right? It's just a fear of the what if. We just need to do it. You see, the devil's a bully. If you don't stand up to him, he will tear you apart like a lion. But if you stand your ground, stand up to him, he will cower. We just got to have that courage to stand up to him. So we need to have the courage as priests, prophets, and kings to speak the truth in love, especially in the face of the culture of death, especially in the face of liberalism, especially in the face of anything that flies contrary to our Catholic beliefs, right? We need to stand up and call a spade. No big deal. That's what we're called to do as priest, prophet, and king. So may we have the courage to do that and realize God is on our side. We have the authority given to us from God our Father through Jesus Christ, his Son, that we are also beloved sons and daughters of God.